Infinity War trailer. Are you ready, Garrett?
I'm super ready.
Let's jump in for the very first time.
For sure, first time.
Alright, so we open up in space.
There was an idea.
Samuel Jackson.
Clearly.
Well, I mean, he was the voice of Samuel Jackson while you heard Robert Downey Jr. Let's clarify that. Everybody in the comments, So, anyways, here's the Hulk, and he has smashed through the roof. We can tell he's smashed through the roof because hey, look, I get the mouse on there. So
there is.
I can do that Madden thing where I talk about things and point to them.
Here's a special teams play.
Right, so we can see that the Bruce Banner created this hole in the roof and then came down into the floor here.
Yeah, it was located by Doctor Strange, and I'm not super familiar with the Strange universe, so I don't know who that is on the right.
Oh, that's his buddy.
It's his buddy.
Yeah.
You heard it first, guys. It's his buddy.
So in the Avengers Infinity War comic, we know that, well, when I say we, I mean me and some of you maybe.
Yeah, not me.
Silver Surfer is the one that crashes through the roof and is the one that tells Doctor Strange about Thanos' impending doom. But two things. One, the Silver Surfer has not been in this universe yet, and two, he never will be as long as 20th Century Fox owns the Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer.
Despite wildly like high price point attempts at Disney and Marvel trying to rectify that.
I mean, yeah, Marvel has always tried to get the rights back to those characters, especially after Disney bought Marvel. Then Disney has been helping, but Fox
didn't they offer more than they bought Star Wars for?
Billions of dollars, and Fox is just like, nah! Yeah, like a child that won't give up their precious toy they won't share.
Well, okay, for context, Disney has offered more than they bought Star Wars for.
Yes.
For just Fantastic Four.
For just Fantastic Four. It's a mess. It's a mess. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about this trailer.
It makes me so mad.
I just want to point out that
this should be Silver Surfer, but I believe that Hulk is filling in.
Obviously, Hulk, this is, if you guys saw Thor Ragnarok, you know that at the end that all of Asgardians are stuck in space, and so, he must have just fallen to Earth somehow after, I'm assuming, an impending attack from Thanos, because at the end of Thor Ragnarok, sorry, spoilers, Garrett, at the end of Thor Ragnarok, we saw Thanos' ship, like, over the giant Asgardian ship, which was dwarfed compared to Thanos' ship.
Yeah, Thanos' ship is very large.
So, anyways, yeah, so we can assume he attacked them, chaos happened, and Hulk fell to Earth, and he's like, Thanos, or something.
It's gonna be real bad!
To see if we could become...
Okay, so this is what I find really interesting. So we know that Vision and Scarlet Witch have a relationship in the comics.
Yeah.
That's not the surprise. The surprise here is that Paul Bettany, who plays Vision, is looking pretty much just like himself with the stone in the middle of his forehead. It's like, he doesn't even look like Vision anymore.
No, he's very much like a human.
I don't know...
Vision is not human.
No,
correct?
he is an artificial intelligence through and through.
Yeah, okay. Vision, I was going to say, Vision is an AI for definitely, but now he just looks like a human with an infinity crystal in his head.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to touch on that at all, or it's like, oh, he's powerful, so he can make himself look like a human. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, so human Vision. Scarlet, but, still banging Scarlet Witch, so that's cool.
I will accept any explanation that they give. I just want them to explain it.
Yeah, I need an explanation.
People are going to be like, but Rich, in comic number blah, 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 the Vision blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right?
I mean, I get it. In the comics, anything and everything has already happened, so I'm just talking about as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe goes, he has not looked like this yet. So
when they needed us,
and there's Thor, obviously on the Guardian ship. And there's
that they never could.
Other people.
Yeah.
I don't care for her blonde hair.
I don't either, but it's not bad. You can't make Scarlett Johansson not pretty in my
That's like the first thing that Jackie said. She's like, oh, she looks gross.
I don't mind it.
It's like, I don't know, I just don't think that short blonde hair works for her.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you...
Okay, so this item number 12 on today's list.
Right.
So Spidey sense.
Should I back up and go ahead and say that one of my first impressions of this trailer is that I don't want to say it's spoiler dense, but there is a lot of information being conveyed here.
Oh yeah.
So if you're not somebody who's super caught up on the Marvel universe and you just watch this trailer, you're gonna be like, oh shit. I guess that happened, or a lot of these things happened. When I first watched this trailer, I got super giddy at this part because I think this is such a neat way to show Spidey sense.
Yeah, we didn't really get a whole lot of Spidey sense, maybe not at all in Civil War or Spider-Man Homecoming. It just literally wasn't conveyed visually to us.
This is such a cool way to do it, though.
Yeah, just like his hair stamp. He's, oh, nice.
And it's so interesting because that is one of those things where it's like, all of us who know Spider-Man see that and know what it is.
Yeah.
Their words aren't necessary. The layman who looks at this may not be like, oh, that was Spidey sense.
Oh, yeah.
But to all the comic book nerds, which are, most of us at this point, they're going to they're going to look that up.
I don't know if they were trying to stay away from Spidey sense because the like the Raimi films like really played Spidey sense to death. In those first 3 Spider-Man movies, and the Amazing Spider-Man touched on it a bit, and they were just kind of trying to stay with like, oh, we don't want to show like more like flies in slow motion, kind of
right.
thing.
That shit's expensive. Like
I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I guess it would be kind of expensive. I'm sure that
Spidey sense was a very central part of like the Tobey Maguire generation of Spider-Man, which was cool. I mean, I didn't dislike those.
It's Marvel and Disney, so I'm sure like expense had less to do with it than just kind of redundancy.
They'll just make it happen.
It's just like, let's stay. But I'm glad that they're putting Spidey sense in now, and again, speaking of redundancy, obviously, like the whole like Uncle Ben death that has been left out of this universe completely so far. Yeah. But again, because redundancy, we've already seen Uncle Ben die twice on the big screen before. Yeah. Let's get there a little bit later. Maybe we'll.
Thank God too. I'm so glad that they opted to do a little bit of a different version of that.
All right. I don't think I've missed anything super important other than what you can see for yourself.
Yeah, right.
So Spidey sense is cool, and then there's this huge alien ring. All the kids are like, whoa, look at that! It looks like Halo without Master Chief.
Yeah, right.
Run from it.
All right, so there's been some talk about this moment right here. These dead people on the ground, are these? Some people think that it's people from like the Doctor Strange temple, like the Temple of the Sorcerer Supreme. For some reason, my mind is blanking on the actual location. But or it's either them or it's Asgardians, especially since we cut to Loki here, and he was on the Asgardian ship at the end of Thor Ragnarok.
And you'll notice in literally the next sequence, the mofo's got the Tesseract.
He brings that right up there. Yeah. Okay, so again, sorry, Garrett, spoilers. But, during the actual event of Ragnarok, when Asgard is being, basically destroyed,
demolished,
and battered to death,
I believe is the technical term.
There's a small scene near the end where it shows Loki, when he's about to put the skull on the flame to actually enact Ragnarok. He sees the Tesseract first, and he looks like he's going to grab that before putting the thing up. So obviously he did grab it, and that's probably why at the end of Thor Ragnarok, Thanos comes and attacks them in the first place. Right. So now we're getting the payoff of that, of what looks like Loki actually handing Thanos the Tesseract.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah. So that's what that's all about. So those are probably dead Asgardians.
Probably.
We'll see. And there is
Bruce Willis.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Bruce Willis.
I didn't think about this at all in this way until Garrett came over and we watched the trailer again before we started this. But yeah, that looks an awful lot like Bruce Willis, especially in a couple shots later. Yeah. It's not Bruce Willis, of course.
It's not.
Thanos.
I just made that joke.
It is.
It is Thanos.
It is Thanos. Motion captured and voiced by the great Josh Brolin. And if you don't know who Josh Brolin is, then well, you just haven't seen enough movies, or maybe you have. I have no idea. You watch whatever you want. But anyways, you should definitely see Oldboy. A lot of people they don't like the American remake, but I did like the American remake. And Josh Brolin is very good in that movie. Anyways, here's Josh Brolin. And I don't know why Thanos isn't wearing his crown. He probably should, so he looks less like Bruce Willis. But yeah, he's got those beady Bruce Willis eyes for sure. So right. I wonder, I've never heard that until you mentioned it before.
But he is here. He has arrived.
Oh, yeah, here's our first glimpses of this new Spidey suit.
Oh, yeah, the new Spidey suit is bitchin'.
So I guess, this is kind of like, like at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming, Tony Stark gave him what was very similar to the Iron Spider suit from the Civil War comic. This looks like a different suit from what we saw at the end of that movie, though. This looks like something completely new. Probably something that Tony made for him to fight Thanos, because, we see later, Thanos pushing Spider-Man against, like, walls and stuff, and that would probably kill Peter Parker.
Yeah, Peter Parker is very. This is the weebiest, humanist incarnation of Peter Parker that we've seen.
So this suit probably literally protects him from being crushed to death.
I hope so.
It's pretty.
But basically, we're seeing Iron Spider inspired something.
And maybe
here.
the spider legs do come out or something. Maybe this is probably as close to an Iron Spider suit as we're gonna get. So.
Yeah.
Evacuate the
Look at
city.
those lights.
Yeah,
the
the
eyes.
Tony Stark
And
classic
here's our
lights.
defense.
Here's Thor acting like Axel from Twisted Metal.
Yeah, interesting. This I actually have no idea what's happening here.
I have no idea either.
Yeah,
something cool.
He's opening something. It's operating some sort of apparatus that appears to be like a 2-lever system, and it's opening some kind of portal behind him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
No
this is
idea.
on the ship.
This is like people like actually guys in comic number 253. Like,
They do that where they
is-
actually verbatim lift and recreate.
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do.
like comic squares
This is
and
like
whatnot.
the worst
So.
breakdown ever. We're just pointing out things and laughing at them.
Oh yeah, right. Oh, look at Thor.
Willis,
Look at that
Thor.
stupid. Look at that stupid jerk. Trying hard. I don't know. Push a button to open the airlock, buddy.
I mean, I will point out that in the Comic-Con tease that we got, months ago during Comic-Con, Thor had both of his eyes, but that's because they didn't want to spoil the fact that he loses an eye in Thor Ragnarok. And now, in this trailer, he obviously is wearing his
We have
his
seen
Odin
him
eye patch.
updated to proper Odin eye patch.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's pretty much Odin at this point. And if you didn't know, the hammer breaks during Thor Ragnarok.
They break it in the trailer.
And then he learns how to use the thunder without the hammer.
Oh,
so
interesting.
He basically is the embodiment of Thor in all of its greatness.
Fair
now.
enough. So he's low-key Asgardian Prime now.
Yeah, he's
Despite the fact that the Asgardians got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
And to get these
I don't know what that was. I'm not
Yeah, I
very
have no
experienced.
idea who's throwing the spear.
Oh, and here's Captain America looking super badass with his overgrown beard and hair. You know?
Yeah, coming out looking like, the Garrett version of Chris Evans.
At the end of Captain America: Civil War, he threw his shield away. He's like, basically Dirty Harry. Like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So he's probably just been doing nothing for a year or two, and now he's back to kick some ass and forgot to bring his razor. So. Let's.
Yeah, gritty reprisal. Not that I have any problem with beards.
No, it looks hella badass.
It does.
Okay. Here's I can't go back. Yes, I can.
Yeah, you can.
I can go back like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go. So here's the Hulkbuster armor, but guys, we are about 90% sure that is not Tony Stark in that Hulkbuster suit.
No.
It has been said by many people that is actually Bruce Banner in the suit. Apparently, after he crashes down in front of Doctor Strange, because he was, remember guys, in Thor Ragnarok, he was Hulk.
He was like hulked out.
For 2 whole years. He didn't turn back into Bruce Banner for 2 years. And when he finally turns back into Bruce Banner, he's like, whoa, we gotta fight Ultron.
Yeah, right.
Like, whoa, dude, hold on. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And
we have some catching up to do.
yeah, and so then he, of
It's
course,
just a bummer because obviously he immediately learns that Ultron's been defeated.
Yeah.
And doesn't even get to rest on that realization before he immediately realizes that the infinitely worse Thanos is coming to destroy everything.
that's right.
Yeah, so man, poor Bruce Banner.
So he, at the end of the movie, he turns back into the Hulk to help fight, and he's worried that if he turns back into the Hulk one last time, he might not ever turn back into Bruce Banner because of how long he was the Hulk before, and it was a struggle to turn him back into Bruce Banner in that movie.
Yeah.
So
This
obviously
is like a
he's-
negative trend.
Yeah, it took falling to Earth to turn him back into Bruce.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he's in the Hulkbuster suit not because he can't turn into the Hulk, but because he doesn't
won't.
want to.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I could be just as effective because the Hulkbuster suit was literally built to fight the Hulk and
did successfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is at least as powerful as the Hulk. So Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit is just as good as him turning into the Hulk, probably.
Probably strength-wise. I get the impression that you just can't destroy the Hulk.
Yeah, and I mean,
Whereas we've seen that the Hulkbuster suit
I'm gonna
gets
go back
damaged.
for a second. And also, just there's a
See if
shot
we could become.
right.
Right.
So when they
Right
need
after
us,
this one, hopefully.
we could fight the battles.
Fight the battles. That one. There's also a shot of Mark Ruffalo standing next to the hand of the Hulkbuster.
This kind of sort of looks like Tony Stark was like, hey, put it on.
Yeah. Here's the glove.
And then in the background, Jabba's palace.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does kind of look like Jabba's palace.
except on Jungle Planet.
Like, this is probably Wakanda from the Black Panther. That's
Oh,
what it probably
gotcha.
is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. It was like it's Jabba's palace minus the weird song.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right, back to where we were. All right, I was gonna say Scarlet Witch, Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson,
as
aka Black Widow,
with her dumb blonde hair.
I don't mind it.
Some
shit
giant. These are obviously. I can't remember what the worst breakdown ever. Yes, we can see a lot of these giant triangle things are falling. There's one here.
Are these related to
here.
Thanos?
These are related to Thanos. Forgot what they're called, but they're there.
Are they like portals, or like they full of troops?
They're full of these alien looking things.
Oh, okay. They're full of his little so they're like drop ships.
Yeah. So we can see these giant like dog alien hybrid things. They're not really. That's not a dog alien hybrid, Rich Alvarez. That's a blah 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 from Marvel #2. Again, this is the worst breakdown ever. But yeah, I can't remember what they're called. There's these alien things. They're being dropped.
But they're basically the Thanos foot soldiers.
I just want to point out how cool Captain America's hair. Look at that. I got it.
Good
moment
yeah.
there. Look at that.
It's so good.
I just want to point out how cool that hair looks. Anyways.
Yeah.
Long hair for the win. Oh yeah, there we get a better view of
very blurry view
of this alien thing with like 6 legs.
Yeah, and it's got like a built-in carapace armor thing. It's got 4 arms, big claws. Black Panther don't care though.
Black Panther punching it. I get a sense from this trailer with like all of the we see Wakanda, we see a lot of Black Panther, we see a lot of Wakandans following the Avengers. I get a sense that Wakanda, in probably the aftermath of the Black Panther movie, Wakanda is going to be very important in this movie. It looks like half of this movie takes place in Wakanda,
which is cool. That bodes very well for the potential of the Black Panther movie, which obviously isn't out yet.
Yeah.
So this is like in a weird sort of way. There's a lot of little this could be almost be a Black Panther 2.0 trailer.
Kind of. I mean, in a lot of ways,
there's so many things being revealed about Black Panther too.
The first Avengers movie was a better Iron Man 2 than Iron Man 2.
It was. That is true.
Here's the said shot of Spider-Man getting crushed by Thanos.
Yeah,
and as we
not
can see,
being instant gibbed and one shot killed by Thanos somehow.
Right here, you can see the wall again, doing
crumbling.
That again.
Yeah.
Here's the wall being crushed, and if that can crush the wall, they can definitely crush Peter Parker. So we know that armor is very fortified.
It's holding up. Yeah.
Fun isn't something one considers.
That's the third shot of boring ass Tony Stark in this movie. Is he gonna wear his Iron Man suit or what?
Yeah, we haven't seen any Iron Man yet.
Balancing the universe.
Not that I don't mind Tony Stark.
Yeah, right.
I want to see him in the suit. They probably have to, because they pay Robert Downey Jr. so much money. They probably have to we have to have X number of shots of him, just his face,
Yeah, right. I mean,
and here is very much
as the guy who literally puts a mask on in every single one of his screen rolls. I get it. I get it.
Here is the Infinity Stone being wielded out of Vision's forehead.
Correct,
so.
and you'll notice that Vision is very much Vision here, and not human Vision.
So we know that the human thing is not a permanent thing. It's probably just an illusion.
Yeah,
they're showing us in the
trailer. I mean, he does have an Infinity Stone.
He has an Infinity Stone.
He could literally he could probably come off as whatever he wants to look like.
Yeah, I mean, it is the Mind Stone, right? I believe it's the Mind Stone.
I think so.
So, for all we know, he's using the Mind Stone to trick Scarlet Witch into thinking he's just imparting a different visual on everybody. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's obviously not a permanent thing because here he is, and this is probably how he dies.
Yeah, and we notice that Thanos is in possession of 2 stones.
He gets at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
So
and one of them was blue.
That was blue. Yeah, that was the Power Stone. I think I always get confused on which one's which. I believe the Tesseract is the Power Stone.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below.
I'm 95% sure.
But anyways, yeah. So obviously, and he had the purple one too, which was the ethereal crap from Thor 2. So I think that somehow he's
he must have got it from Ronan.
Yeah, who had it last? It was the Collector who had it last, right?
Either the Collector or was it turned over to the national to the government.
I gotta rewatch every single Marvel movie. Anyways, what am I doing? Just keeping it down there.
That's a weird way to do that.
You guys have no idea what I'm talking about.
Nope.
Talking about my vape. Anyways, what we say is he's obviously able to take things like the Tesseract and then turn them into their true Infinity Crystal form
things. Yeah.
So he gets at least 2 of them. We can see that.
Have we seen the Time Crystal yet? In anything?
The
green?
Yeah, it's Doctor Strange. It's the Eye of Agamotto.
That's right. That is right. Because that is low key the Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one you want.
That's the time and space and all that good junk. And,
yeah, now space is different. Space is the red one or the ether.
Okay, space is
so.
the ether. See, it can get very confusing, guys.
Yeah, right. And then soul. I don't know a damn thing about soul.
That's it. That was it. The soul stone, the orange one. That's the only one we have not seen yet.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people think that it's what's his name? Idris Elba's character in Thor. A lot of people think that he has it or something.
Oh,
they're probably wrong.
Oh, the all-seer dude, like
Yeah.
the big prophet Asgardian.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I
got
feel
it.
like if he did, they would have showed it in Ragnarok, and they didn't.
Yeah, why
so.
don't we know that?
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Anywho's, he's got a couple of stones there, and it's good time. Bad times for the Avengers. There's a better shot of Bruce Willis Thanos with his glove. What we're gonna touch more on that glove and how cool it looks, or
It's really good. I mean, it's well done. We've got two here. We know that Vision is in possession of a stone here, so we know. I mean, based on this shot alone, we can infer that, at least in this scene, he hasn't ripped it out of Vision's skull.
do you think that he will acquire? There's a lot of people are talking. Do you think that he will acquire all of them by the end of this movie?
That would be mega fucked if he did. I obviously we know we see him in possession of two, so that much is confirmed. It is wildly possible for him to have acquired at least the other two.
Yeah.
Because we know where the Mind Stone is, and we know where the Eye of Agamemnon is.
So here's a theory I'm putting out there. I've actually heard nobody talk about this so far. So obviously in the comics he does acquire all of them.
Yeah.
And then takes some crazy crap to defeat him. But
Right.
here's
So
my
he's,
theory.
like,
So we know that the upcoming
Got the power of God at that point. Yeah.
we know that the upcoming Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s. For some reason, we're going to see a younger, Samuel Jackson. Well, I mean, it's still going to be Samuel Jackson, but they're going to make him look younger. He's going to have both eyes. So we're probably going to see how he loses his eye. So
Yeah.
the Captain Marvel movie takes place in the 90s. And a lot of people are wondering why. And here's what I think. I think that somehow the Time Stone or something is going to get used, and they're going to bring, like, Captain Marvel probably dies at the end of her movie. And then, like, in this movie, we're going to see her, like, being taken out of that or something before she dies, or maybe her movie will end with this moment. Who knows? I really think it was a mistake to do her movie after this one, but hey, what do I know? Anyways, a lot of other people are saying that, originally the Infinity War movie was split into two movies, and then they made it one movie, and they're saying, the next one will be something else, or maybe it'll continue. I think that it's possible that Thanos is not defeated in this movie, and this movie, even though they said it's not a two-parter, will still end on a cliffhanger. We'll see.
They have said that but it's not so much like, I read the article that announced it, and they said that the way that they worded it is the movie that was originally named Infinity War Part 2
Is named something else.
is now going to be named something else. So in
Right.
my mind, it's still going to be Part
Right.
2, but I think from a marketing standpoint, they were like, we have a little bit more potential here than just making a two-parter.
I think it's because
Like-
in the last 20 years of making things part 1 and part 2, like Deathly Hallows part 1 and part 2, it's like part 1 did okay, and then part 2 does phenomenal, because I guess the marketing mind is that people will wait until part 1's on video, watch it, and then go see part 2.
see Part 2, yeah.
So if they
that's
don't
fine.
call them part 1 and part 2, then people will still go to see it.
Right.
But
Also, it is a discredit to the thing. And I get that doing that in a Deathly Hallows situation, because, like, what are you going to name the second movie about Deathly Hallows? Like,
Yeah.
what, are you going to come up with a new name that is just telling a story that was already told in the book, The Deathly Hallows? Are you going to pull a Hobbit at that point? We saw how that went over.
Yeah. So I think it's possible that he only gets a couple stones in this movie, and then it ends with, like, Captain Marvel showing up. She's like, I got here just in time, and then we'll go and see the Captain
Yeah.
Marvel movie to figure out how she got there, So
Right, yeah.
We'll see. We shall see. Anyways, let's continue. There's Tony Stark in the Iron Man.
Yeah, we got
Getting
two
punched in
Iron
the
Man
face.
shots.
And here's Winter Soldier. Obviously, he's been thawed out again.
Yeah.
There's Black Panther, a bunch of Wakandans, a bunch of Wakandans.
Yeah, no, they seem like they do pretty great.
Here's half of the Avengers with Black Panther plus one of the leads from the Black Panther movie plus a bunch of Wakandans.
I'll tell you what, the few shots that we have in here, like, speak really high praise to what the Black Panther movie could be. Like I said, this is almost another trailer for the Black Panther movie, kind of.
And again, I'm just gonna point out this right here, like Chris Evans with his hair and his beard. It's just it's beautiful.
Perfect. That's a very attractive human being.
Hey.
I will say that the little music cliff at the end of this here like got me so good the first time I saw it. I was like, oh man, because I've been thinking about Infinity War for a long time.
Who the hell are you guys?
The Guardians of
Woo!
the Galaxy.
They're gonna make it. We always knew they would, but oh my god!
Just get rid of this mustache.
Yeah, that's a choice, Star-Lord.
So here's the thing, you know.
Chris Evans in this movie looking real great. Come on, Chris Pratt.
Okay, so here's the thing. You know, the funny thing is that in I don't know, have you seen Justice League yet?
I didn't intend to.
Okay, it's
See Justice League.
It's better than Batman v Superman,
Really? It scored worse.
but like
I was gonna
This
skip
much.
Justice League. My
you
parents.
can.
My parents, who don't know a goddamn thing about comics, bless them. They don't. It's not really a priority for them. They don't have to. I'm not requiring that they do, but they don't. They saw Justice League and said just from an objective action movie context, it actually was like okay. So I'm interested to know. It's interesting, worth noting that my parents, who are, you know, mildly picky movie fans, but don't know anything about like actual like comic book stuff,
They thought it
watched
was okay.
Justice League and were like, oh, that was all right.
Yeah, it is a little bit better than Batman v Superman. There are actually a few moments in Justice League that I really like, but then a lot of moments I don't. And so, anyways, we're not talking about Justice League here.
Yeah.
I'm only bringing up Justice League because by the time they shot Superman's scenes, a lot of you know he was filming Mission Impossible 6. Henry Cavill was filming Mission Impossible 6, and in that movie he has a mustache.
Right.
And Paramount was like, "Oh, well, you can't. We need him to have that mustache. You cannot shave his mustache." And Warner Brothers was like, "Well, it's going to cost us like $20 million to remove that mustache from every shot, versus if he shaves, and then it'll cost you guys like a couple thousand for just a really good prosthetic." And Paramount was like, "Nah,
No.
you guys got to keep the mustache. He's under contract with that mustache or something." So basically, again, my point is like Justice League better than Batman v Superman, but one of the things that makes it really bad is that every single shot of Henry Cavill looks like he has video game mouth because they had to CG his mustache out.
Christ.
So it's like it just looks weird, and if you've seen it, you know what I talk about. Anyways, I'm so glad that they didn't do that with Chris Pratt. However, he had to have his mustache for Jurassic World 2. So rather than shaving it off or CGing it or whatever, Marvel was just like, okay, Star-Lord has a mustache now because we don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the
Star-Lord wouldn't care.
That's
fine.
That's the only reason I was bringing
It's
up
a much
Justice League.
larger breach of issue for Superman, who is just so classically clean-shaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Star-Lord can have a mustache.
we went on this whole tangent about Justice League, but that's the only reason why I want to bring it up is just because he gets to keep his mustache because Marvel is so much more chill than anybody else.
Marvel wouldn't put a mustache on Superman,
Yeah.
though.
And even though I'd
Not
rather...
if it were even up to them.
No, but even though I'd prefer if Star-Lord didn't have a mustache, I like that he has it just because it's...
I'd like it better in video game mouth, or whatever the fuck you
Yeah,
just
video
called
game
that other
mouth.
thing.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, video game mouth.
Video game mouth.
I'm going to continue to reference that as video game mouth.
Okay, it is forever video game mouth.
Anyways, yeah, it's all good. So, that's the trailer. That's
Yeah.
the trailer. So, I mean, it took us 30 minutes to watch a 2-minute trailer, but hey, that's what breakdowns are for.
That's what breakdowns are for. I don't know. I don't have much to say on it. This just really is. There's a lot of information being revealed here. A lot of information, and a lot of information dependent on you having viewed all these movies. So, obviously, we're still a ways out from Infinity War, but obviously, for the people like me who have some patchy holes in what Marvel movies you have and have not seen, now's probably the time, or certainly before you walk into Infinity War, do yourself a favor and at least have, viewed the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe as necessary.
Yeah.
At least the most recent versions of several things.
So, the last Marvel movie that Joss Whedon directed was Avengers Age of Ultron, which is arguably the worst one, and I think it really showed people
It's a good movie. It's just the worst Marvel movie.
Yeah, again, I love Marvel. Probably more than
Iron Man 2 wasn't great.
Yeah. No, I really,
It's good.
at least in my
Great.
opinion, Age of Ultron is the weakest. I like Age of Ultron even less than Thor 2. So it's pretty low, and maybe I'm biased, but I was thinking I think that Joss Whedon's the first Avengers movie was really mostly good because Kevin Feige again pretty much already had exactly what he wanted jotted down, and Joss Whedon had to just film it, and then they were like, oh, Joss Whedon, I guess you can have a little bit more freedom in Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, and then they gave him his freedom, and then apparently actors were complaining that Joss Whedon was just like not there on set. I mean, he was there, but like he just didn't care. He was lazy. He was like, yeah, he's apathetic, and just really showed that he was done with it. And apparently this is a common thing. I know people love Joss Whedon, and people are gonna rage at me in the comments, but name one Joss Whedon television show that actually had a true ending and was not canceled. I bet you can't, because it's never happened. Buffy canceled, Angel canceled, Dollhouse canceled, Firefly canceled after one season. The guy has never finished anything because he has problems with executives. He gets in arguments. He has problems. And like most cast members from those TV shows love Joss Whedon, but you hear from everybody and their mom that he's just really hard to
Anybody
work with.
outside of like his immediate circle of actors like seem to suggest he's difficult to work with.
So Age of Ultron was showing that kind of degradation of him kind of like just losing his interest and losing his passion for what we assume was his passion in the first Avengers. Anyways, my point is the Russo brothers have taken over, and it's the Russo brothers that are directing Infinity War, and I think rightfully so, because their two previous Marvel movies, Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, I think are the highlights of the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far, and so I think that like them getting promoted, so to speak, to the Avengers is rightfully so. And anyways, my point is the Russo brothers, they're very open about most things, and they're like, hey, remember that Joss Whedon movie, Age of Ultron, where he tried to make it so if you've never seen a Marvel movie, you could just walk in and...
Who?
And,
who directed Justice League?
Justice League was Zack Snyder with some help from Joss Whedon.
Okay.
He came in and did the reshoots. But it's still only credited to Zack Snyder.
I know.
By the way. Anyways, yeah, so...
who do you feel was the dominant force of that movie's flop?
I don't know. We're not going to talk. Well, Justice League we'll save for a different video. Anyways, so the Russo brothers, they are not making the same mistakes. They've been very open, and so they're just like, hey, like, you need to watch the previous Marvel movies. We are in no way going to take any shortcuts in the plot to hey, newcomers, bring it. It's like, I mean, there might be a little bit of that, but I think the idea is that they really want this to be so much more involved than, like, because Age of Ultron just felt so empty. So they, it's like they're bringing this all together, but you need to know the context. So do yourselves a favor. If you want to enjoy this movie, go and watch the 18, 19 other Marvel movies that exist right now.
I would go ahead and wager that most of you have seen most of them.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, you're missing a few. I haven't seen Ragnarok. Yeah. I haven't seen, I didn't see Age of Ultron.
You didn't see it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't see...
Oh, you were just like it was an okay movie.
I saw enough of it. I should say this. I didn't finish Age of Ultron. Whereas I have not started or watched any minutes of Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, okay.
And there's a few others. There's a few others that I just haven't like pieced together. So I'm missing about 4 movies in that I've got to watch them before Infinity War drops. Rich is so disappointed in me.
You got some homework to do, buddy.
I got 4 movies. There's like 16 of them, all right?
All right, anyway.
Or dude doesn't watch movies all that much.
All right, so, yeah, that's it. That's my only recommendation is catch up on the Marvel movies.
It's going to be important because Marvel has a history of pulling no punches on just like, okay, here's our story. If you're not caught up, figure it out.
Obviously, the most important ones are the most recent ones. I would say definitely watch Civil War, definitely watch Thor Ragnarok, and...
I haven't seen Civil War either.
Oh, geez, man. Civil War is so good.
I know. I missed Civil War. That's the other one that I'm missing.
Yeah, Civil War. Black Panther is not out yet, but that looks like it's...
I imagine Black Panther is going to be very important based on the fact that we saw a gratuitous amount.
Yeah, and Doctor Strange also, which you also haven't seen.
Haven't seen Doctor Strange. That's number... There we go. We named all 4.
Well, it's a good thing we do video game talk usually, because if it was...
Yeah, he kind of blindsided me with this one. And I know enough, and I can analyze a trailer. Obviously, I don't know nothing, Rich Alvarez.
It's a good time. It's a good time. All right, let's go to your... It's time to go to your live...
Yeah, for sure. Also, someone super chatted us early, and I got to give her a shout out real quick.
Super chat.
Yeah, Shad Minez, who just didn't have a question, just said keep up the great work.
Thank you, Shad Minez.
Yeah, that's super appreciated. It's been a long week for both of us, but really, really especially this guy who is probably going on about 250 man hours into editing.
You know, we do this show every week, and I feel like we barely get any super chats. Also, I keep forgetting about them. So, guys, if you know how to use super chat, I think I figured out how to use it one time.
It's not super hard.
Somewhere down there in the chat options, you can super chat. For it. We always, you know, we're answering your live questions now. If you super chat it, then we'll have to answer it because it'll be highlighted, and I think you paid for it or something. So, yeah, super chat is an option. But anyways, so let's go to other choice questions. Garrett.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to peruse up and see that, but go ahead and peruse in your questions now as far as if you got a question on... it's worth mentioning that while we are talking about...
We're on the Guardians of the Galaxy show.
Ooh! Whilst we did decide that we're talking about, you know, Marvel today, we will accept video game questions if you've got them. So that's all good. Captain Black-Eyed, with as good a starting question as any, just is simply wondering, what do you think, or what is your favorite Marvel movie? Or of this Marvel extended universe? Like, which movie, like, made you the happiest, I guess?
I mean, I've enjoyed most of the Marvel movies. I've enjoyed all of them, and I've enjoyed some of them more than others. My favorite is probably still Winter Soldier, because
I like Winter Soldier a lot.
I feel like that was like a spy movie, like the best a James Bond movie could be, but with Captain America.
Also, that was like low-key the S.H.I.E.L.D. movie.
Kind of.
Yeah, it was the movie like about S.H.I.E.L.D. and about how shit with S.H.I.E.L.D. gets really crazy. I would say that was my very close second. My favorite is Guardians.
Okay, yeah. Guardians is also really solid.
Yeah. But that's just because I'm a huge sucker for sci-fi, so if you literally put, like, an 8.5 out of 10 sci-fi movie, and you put it next to a 9.0, like, anything else movie, I'm gonna be like, I like the sci-fi one, even though it's objectively poorer because, space, like...
No, Guardians is real solid.
I know, but it's just one of those things where it's like, depending on where you understand, just understand that I don't even necessarily reconcile it as the most interesting. I just love that setting so much. So, that's all good.
I was gonna just keep on ranting, and I like how Garrett, like, wants to kill... We're just like...
I just word vomit. I just word vomit. So, I'm gonna turn it over to you. Whatever you're gonna say, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you know what, it's irrelevant now. Let's move on. Next question.
Okay. Hydra's asking specifically who your favorite Avenger is.
My favorite Avenger is probably also Captain America, because I feel like he can be objective, and he can, he sees things how they are, and he's also not a tool like Tony Stark.
Right.
And I think it's kind of funny because when Civil War came out and people realized that, Captain America, he actually stands for, like, these old American ideals that don't really exist anymore. And like, it's a little political, but it's like, and like, people were like, wait a minute, so you mean in the Captain America Civil War movie, Captain America is on the side that's against the government? I thought he was Captain America. Remember, guys, it's very important. Being a true American doesn't mean necessarily that you blindly follow the American government. The country of America and its people are separate from the American government. That's all I'll say before I get in trouble.
He's a patriot.
Yeah,
in the truest and most old school definition of the word.
You can love America without loving the government, and that's all I'll say, because then that
shouldn't be political. That's like our oldest ideal. That is like the thing that they wrote down when they decided America was going to be a thing. That will get you into trouble.
That's absolutely true. But there are some people that think if you have anything against the government, then you're anti-American. But that's for another day, another topic.
Right.
Anyways. Next question, Garrett. Unless you want to answer that one. Who's your favorite Avenger?
You know what? It's also Captain America.
Okay, good.
For largely the same reasons. I think if you want to look and chart out character growth, as far as like who has had the most interesting and complex reconciliation of the conflicts that be, you can't get. That being said, a very close second is Iron Man. Iron Man is just way too cool in my book. I know you're not the biggest Iron Man fan.
I think especially after Thor Ragnarok, it's gonna go. For me, it goes Captain America, Hulk, Thor, maybe even Ant-Man, and then Iron Man.
Wow! Okay, gotcha.
Oh, Spider-Man is somewhere in there, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Tony Stark, but, like, just, like, he's getting a little too snarky and a little too stubborn and a little too this and that.
A little too uncompromising, maybe.
Lost a lot of respect for him in Civil War, which you need to see.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. Now, okay, let's see. Hokie Song wants us to know that he hates Star Wars: The Force Awakens and wonders if we also hate it.
I do not hate Star Wars: The Force
I
Awakens.
liked Force Awakens quite a lot.
I-
That being said,
Star Wars is my life.
I know, Star Wars is our life. That being said, in order to sort of bridge this gap here, I could understand why somebody would be frustrated with The Force Awakens. If they had certain expectations for the movie, I could understand why some people kind of left that movie being like, why did we just see the Death Star get blown up again? Why did I just sit down and watch just a rehashing of A New Hope? Like, if you look at it at a really surface level, I could totally understand why somebody walked out of The Force Awakens being like, did I really wait that long for the Rebel Alliance to just blow up a Death Star again? I can understand why people would say that.
I feel like people are getting hung up on the wrong problem.
I know. Well, that being said, I enjoyed so much. I didn't like that about that movie. I didn't. I'll just level with you in the idea that I felt like there was a missed opportunity there for something unique and different, and we explored a lot of things with Snoke and with Rey and with the First Order and stuff that really could have maybe bridged out of that. And I really like Starkiller Base as a concept. It eats stars and vomits out planet killer juice. That's super cool and super Star Warsy. And it really, the thing that sold me on Force Awakens was the stuff that, wasn't necessarily the meta conflict. Wasn't that sort of stuff. I liked the reprising of the characters. I like Kylo Ren. I like his story. I like the implications with Rey and how she fits into this loose narrative. I like the really mysterious meanderings around Luke. I think it sufficed as a Star Wars movie in all of its respect, though I will level with the idea that it was far from perfect.
I mean, yes, it has a lot of similar plot elements to A New Hope. It's true. But when you're doing a new Star Wars movie for the first time in 10 years and trying to connect with fans who haven't enjoyed the series since the 80s, you kind of need to, maybe it was inspired and made too many homages to A New Hope. I don't know. I see that's the thing. I don't really agree with that. I mean, yes, would it have been cool if the plot was a little bit more original? Yeah, but like Rey and Finn, they're so different from any other Star Wars characters that we've met before that it makes the movie new and different. And I just feel like if you get hung up about Starkiller,
it was so weird to me that like the two biggest criticisms I heard of the movie is one, it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie, or two, it was way too much what we saw before. It's like those two criticisms are on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, did you want something super original?
That's what I said. People get hung up on these weird things. It's like, besides those few plot elements similar to A New Hope, it's a completely different movie. It doesn't feel anything like A New Hope to me.
Yeah.
But it does also feel
I
like
see the
Star
similarities,
Wars.
for sure.
I mean, again, if I could have everything my way, then I would have kept George Lucas for the story and, at least have him do the first draft of the script and then have Kasdan come in and write the second draft. Bringing JJ in to write the script with Kasdan, I think, is where the if there is a failure with the movie, it's right there, because JJ, I still think that he's a pretty creative director. I think that JJ, the director, is too in love with JJ, the writer, and therefore you get
JJ's a wonderful director.
I
don't know that he deserves nearly as much praise when it comes to his writing. However,
yeah,
it's very safe. It's very safe.
They when JJ came on, they took the story treatment that, again, the original agreement with Disney is George Lucas sold Star Wars and Lucasfilm to Disney, but he's like, hey, here's my 20-page treatment for 7, 8, and 9. You need to follow this. It's part of the agreement. And then JJ came in, took that treatment, and went. So yeah, that was the mistake. I think that they could have made a better movie with a more original plot had they stuck to George Lucas's treatment. However, it was still a good movie.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. And Star Wars fans have proven time and time again that they're very difficult to please. They're very particular, and so many people feel so passionately about Star Wars, but feel passionate about different parts of Star Wars. If you asked a group of 100 Star Wars fans, like, what do you like? What do you want out of the next Star Wars movies? You would literally get 100 different answers, which means that you're going to put out a movie, and unfortunately, a few people are going to be just dramatically disappointed because Star Wars means so many different things to so many people. So I've accepted that Star Wars fans are going to be picky. I accept that the fandom is wrought with disagreement. But to anybody who is pointing out imperfections in a movie, I constantly find myself backpedaling and be like, have you ever seen a Star Wars movie? They're cheesy. They're super cheesy. Is that not what we all signed on for? Is that like what we not what we all fell in love with? Like I don't
think
get
it's
it.
funny because you read a lot of the criticisms against certain Star Wars movies, like The Force Awakens. It's like, what were they expecting? I mean, again, Star Wars is my favorite franchise, favorite series, but
Bar none.
I love
Bar
them
none
because of what they are, and they are kind of cheesy, and they are kind of kooky, and they have Ewoks and Gungans and things. It's like. So, don't complain that you're getting porgs in a Star Wars movie. That literally fits in with... There's a porg right there. That literally fits in with things that we have gotten in the past. And
it's super consistent.
There is no basis to complain about things like porgs. There's also no basis to complain about a new Death Star, considering that 2, now 3, including Rogue One, Star Wars movies, other than The Force Awakens, have a Death Star in it.
Right.
Guess what, guys? Death Stars are part of Star Wars. All right.
They are. And super weapons are central to, almost anything that happens in the Star Wars universe ever.
Yeah. Children and young adults being loners on desert planets is also nothing new to Star Wars. Friendships that are made out of nothing is nothing new to Star Wars, guys. So again, these complaints about The Force Awakens are just so unfounded.
I know. It's also you hear the Rey is a Mary Sue thing all the time. I get it. Again, I get it, but I think we need more information, and I think that we're approaching the movie that is going to make a lot of race behavior in Force Awakens make sense. Remember, a lot of these movies are not meant to be viewed individually. They are supposed to sit within an entire trilogy. I say just give it some time.
It's like if you watched Star Wars Episode 2 and Star Wars Episode 1 didn't exist, you'd be like, Anakin is such a Mary Sue. Look at him jumping off of things and landing on other things and... And like, yeah, because you don't know his past, but
right.
We do because we have episode 1.
He flies a fast trash can with an astromech droid attached to it and can take on, like, separatist capital ships. Like, no problem.
I mean, that's what I say about people complaining about Rey. It's like, maybe she seems like a Mary Sue because you've literally missed out on the first 18 years of her life to know,
right?
Why
like,
she's
if they
like
came
that.
back and were like, oh yeah, this girl's actually been training in her Force the whole life, and then somebody forced her to forget all that, and now she's, like, coming back to her, you'd be like, oh wait. Maybe she's actually, like, gratuitously well-trained and there's a reason for all this.
I think that's why
we're lacking an explanation, which is reasonable for you to be like, why any of this? I think that's what you're supposed to be feeling right now. You don't have to put a bad word to it.
Yeah.
So that's all good.
Let's move on.
Yeah. A few people have asked who your favorite amongst the Guardians of the Galaxy are.
Oh, Star-Lord, obviously.
Star-Lord,
everyone else is a raccoon.
I might be... The Destroyer. I might be Drac.
Drac. He's pretty funny.
I think it's Drac. It's either Drac or it's Rocket.
He just told you your deepest, darkest secret.
I know. I find him so charming and so likable, despite being crazy. Also, he reminds me of a Dungeons and Dragons character that I played many years ago. So that's all good. Inuyasha Dinosaur 101, which is quite a username, says, what's your thoughts on the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor from both Jurassic World and its sequel Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and have you read the Jurassic Park novel?
I have read the Jurassic Park novel.
I have too.
I have read Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park at 3 different points in my life.
Just once.
Like when I was too young to understand it.
12 years ago.
When I was like 5. And then again when I was like 10. And then I read it again my senior year of high school. So I guess I haven't read it since I was 18.
Yeah.
But I do know it very intimately. It's probably my favorite book, as well as Jurassic Park being one of my favorite movies. The movie is completely different from the book. I mean,
that's how you do a film adaptation, though.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, like Jurassic Park, by the way, is kind of like a lesson in how you adapt a story to film and why a book can never
where you can deviate and it's okay.
Yeah. There's a lot there, you know.
Yeah, seriously though, it's very compelling. As far as the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor, I'm cool with them. I think it's a little bit of a slippery slope just to get into bigger, faker dinosaurs. But I think the series was headed there inevitably with, like, 1 or 2 kind of forays into, like, genetically designed super dinosaurs. They're out of the way, and so long as it's a trend, I can appreciate them for what they are. I liked them in the movies. I loved Indominus Rex. I thought he was a terrifying force in nature. But I don't necessarily want to see, like, the next Jurassic Park have, like, the Megalodon Indominus Rex, and this just turn into, like, some weird Digimon reboot.
I think you kind of have to, like, in order to enjoy the Jurassic World movies, I think you have to understand that they're kind of a different beast than the Jurassic Park.
They are.
Like
They're not trying to be
Let's not
Jurassic
even count
Park.
Jurassic Park 3. Really just Jurassic Park
That
and
was
the
a
Lost
goofy
World.
movie.
Jurassic Park and the Lost World were taken from the Crichton books.
Right.
Michael Crichton
Effectively.
is a very. I recommend Westworld to anyone, by the way.
Yeah, beautiful series.
Michael Crichton is a very he's dead. Was a very detailed science writer. His science fiction bordered on actual science at every turn because while he was. Before he was becoming a writer, he was getting his doctorate in biological science.
He cared so deeply about rooting fiction environments in plausibility and rooting extensive research around the biology that could theoretically manifest in his plot lines, and that's so immensely commendable. You do not see that in a lot of other things. That's also why I love Christopher Nolan's Interstellar so much. Was just because of its root in some actual astrophysics discussions, but Michael Crichton was great. I know a lot of people are kind of down on him for Sphere specifically.
I like Sphere.
I know a lot of people were like, it's Forbidden Planet. It's fucking Forbidden Planet.
Whatever. Anyways, so the first two Jurassic Park movies, the first one in particular, really stayed true to that Crichton tone. That my favorite scene in Jurassic Park doesn't have any dinosaurs in it.
Yeah.
It's simply the table where Malcolm is like, you're putting it on a plastic lunchbox, now your salad, like he's given that like lecture to everyone about how you cannot do what they're trying to do. And yet the whole movie is filled with those kind of like soliloquy-esque inner monologues coming out, and things that you shouldn't say that you say, and all of these Crichton-isms.
God creates man.
Yeah,
Man creates
exactly.
Man creates dinosaur. Dinosaurs eat man. Women inherit the earth.
Yeah, there's all this like fantastic little things. And again, it's like, and a lot of that is also Spielbergerisms too. Again, like those inner monologues that are just said instead of thought.
Right.
We don't get any of that in Jurassic World. Jurassic World, I really think to enjoy it, you have to just kind of think of it as something else. At least that. By the way, I love Jurassic World. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying, is it as good as Jurassic Park? No, not at all. But it's very enjoyable. But it's just Jurassic World is kind of like the best that a kind of action summer blockbuster in the last 10 years can be. I don't expect them to be as smart as Jurassic Park, nor do I expect them to be as good as Jurassic Park.
They're just different.
So,
and they can be different. They don't have a super intelligent, regimentedly creative scientific work behind the mastermind of which was Michael Crichton. We don't get that anymore. It's gone. So the series is going to be something different.
So like all of this complaint, like they're just bringing fake dinosaurs, or it's
fine.
It's all
it's fine.
It's all just it's like that's exactly what it's supposed to be. Again, if you want to watch Jurassic Park. Watch Jurassic Park, it's still there. But if you like what they're doing in Jurassic World, then watch Jurassic World. But
it is remarkable because it will probably never happen again the way that it did. And the right now, today is obviously, where we're so saturated with, crazy movies and, the CGI and what it was. Jurassic Park is a great example of a movie that came out in a time when it could be remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie came out when? Was it
93?
93? Yeah. The special effects still hold up. Because, I mean, so much of it was practical effects, and, a huge chunk of the movie's budget was just that animatronic T-Rex that was like, doing things and whatnot. And
there's a lot to be said for Stan Winston, who's now dead. He created all of the animatronic dinosaurs in the movie. And the CG
the unsung
and
hero
were
of Jurassic
flawlessly
Park.
blended together. You get close-ups of the animatronics and the CGI from far, and we kind of lose a lot of that today, because there isn't a lot of... I think
everything can be CGI now.
Yeah.
Everything can be. So... a movie like Jurassic Park to come out and present visuals in that way would have nowhere near the shock value. Jurassic Park would be successful these days, but it wouldn't be the cultural phenomenon that it was, over 20 years ago.
Well, I would argue that it would still shock today because without Jurassic Park, we wouldn't have any of those other movies.
I know,
that
right?
came after it.
Arguably, yeah, Jurassic Park kind of put all this expectation in motion. So that's an excellent point.
It was the first movie to use computer-generated animals, or dinosaurs in that case. Like
Right,
just-
yeah.
I mean, CGI had been used for...
Lots of stuff before then,
a
but
few
never
things.
like animals specifically.
Not for, like, organic things. Like, I think the closest they'd gotten is in Young Sherlock Holmes in '89. I think that they created, like, the glass monster thing, which looked really cool. But, like,
Yeah.
But, like, and then the T-1000 in terms
Also,
of...
we had all kinds of Star Wars stuff. You know, we had that was a lot of practical effects too, but we had some CG stuff in Star Wars.
Ish, yeah.
A lot of blaster
But again,
bolts and a lot of stuff like that.
Who did the special effects in Young Sherlock Holmes? Who did the special effects in Terminator 2?
Mm-hmm.
Who did the special effects in Jurassic Park? The answer to all these questions is Lucasfilm.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely affirmative.
Who basically invented CGI.
Yeah.
Industrial Light and Magic.
I guess one more, and then we'll maybe give a little bit of a dissertation on some Mario stuff and call it a day.
Yeah.
Okay, Hydra asking about how do we feel about Mad Max, and what do we think of Fury Road?
Here's the thing. I really love the Mad Max series. I know that it's becoming more
The Mad
popular.
Max world, even.
Yeah, it's becoming more popular again, especially after Fury Road. I do like Fury Road a lot. It might be my least favorite of all the Mad Max movies.
Oh, really?
Though.
It is for sure it is for sure my favorite Mad Max.
It is definitely the most exciting.
Yeah.
And has a lot of cool action, but is really lacking in the substance department. Whereas I felt like the previous Mad Max movies told really deep, character-driven development stories. Fury Road has none of those things.
Oh, really? I thought it was there. I thought it was just a lot less spoken.
I mean, like, it really feels like Furiosa is the main character, and Mad Max is just there to say, like, 5 lines total.
It is for sure Furiosa's movie.
I mean...
I don't mind that.
I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good. But, and a lot of people think that Thunderdome is the weakest one. Thunderdome is probably my favorite.
Really?
And I think it's because we really get to see
I feel like
Max,
it's this constant battle between Fury Road and Mad Max 2.
Yeah, that's what people say. But
yeah, that's like that's
best
the battle of the worlds, yeah.
The best one is Thunderdome because there's no car chases and it just focuses on Max, like, dealing with these children in this post-apocalyptic world. He's trying to save them, and there's actually meaning behind it. Jesus, guys. Like, anyways, like, just do yourselves a favor. If you like Mad Max because you've liked Fury Road and maybe you missed 2, 3, all of the original Mad Max movies, do yourself a favor and watch the originals.
At least 2 and 3.
At least 2 and 3. 1 is real slow if you're not ready for it. But,
yeah, one shows its age for sure. Also, 1 was a garbage budget. I mean, 1 was filmed, like, basically on one road in the Australian outback. It doesn't even look that apocalyptic.
No, it's considered dystopian because it doesn't really hold to what the second one established as. Post-apocalypse as the desert and trash in the desert. That was all Mad Max 2. And then that's what post-apocalypse looks into.
You're gonna, if you don't expect it, you're gonna go into Mad Max 1 and be like, is this like before the bombs fell? Like, what is this? Like, sort of thing. You're not going to get it right away.
Super retconned at the beginning of Mad Max 2. It's like, this is how it's always looked.
It's always looked like this. The world's destroyed and whatnot. You could start there. You could start at the beginning of Mad Max 2 and it makes sense. So that's all good. So I guess that's about good. I got a few people who were just kind of like throwing out some requisitions for
I was gonna say, you kind of know this about me though, because I'm super like nostalgic and holistic about like the like Mad Max and then Fallout. I'm like, Fallout 2 still holds up, like
it doesn't, Richard. It doesn't. It's a cantankerous game.
No, all that's true. But, I really think the reason why...
It's good. It can be good and not hold up.
I think the reason why I have such strong opinions about things like Fallout 2 or the original Mad Maxes, or even when I talk about Chrono Trigger, the reason why I have such strong opinions is because I hate the modern millennial idea that all you need is the new stuff. Because I think that there's still a lot to be said about that.
Right, or the idea that you couldn't possibly enjoy a movie... or that you've come to expect certain things with CG, and you've come to expect a certain production medium because it is what it is now today as you're experiencing things now, and just the idea that any movie that can't hold up to this level of visual effects just you couldn't enjoy it. That's just objectively
But
false.
having said that, I do think that dramas have held up a lot better than like science fiction, because like you watch any like science fiction movie that's not Star Wars from like the 70s, it's like, oh, that looks kind of fake.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Also,
but
sci-fi is an interesting genre because, like, you know, it's really only been it's been around for not that long at all. Whereas, like, drama and, you know, the experience of writing and understanding drama and, you know, its emergence as, like, a medium of storytelling has been around for thousands of years. Whereas sci-fi it really is only a few decades old.
couple centuries.
I mean, yeah, everybody.
Jules Verne was 1800s.
I know he was. Was that sci-fi? Do we classify that? I know it's a big question, but I guess I just point out.
Absolutely would classify that as science fiction.
Would you? Okay, that's fair then. Well, even then, you know, it's still a very modern genre by any way that you spin it, and I think a lot of people. I think it took us some time to figure out like what's sci-fi, and what's its place in like the modern collective human narrative.
I think that I'm not to rain on your parade a little bit. I mean, remember the first motion picture was A Trip to the Moon.
That is true.
Literally, sci-fi was on everyone's mind. So
yeah, but
that was
still,
like, what, 1912?
That's early in comparison to how long humans have been telling stories.
You're right.
That's brand new.
As far as the dawn of time,
yeah,
you're right. Sci-fi is relatively new, but it is at least
people have been telling each other stories for thousands of years.
Yeah, but sci-fi, you have to admit, it's at least a couple hundred years old, at least.
I'll level with you on that. If you level with me on humans have been telling stories for about 7,000 years.
At least.
At least. Maybe closer to 250,000, depending on who you ask. But anyway. I guess we'll talk about... I'm sure there's a handful of people that are... or I know there's a handful of people that are asking about Legacy, and a handful of people that are asking about the animated series, and just one person who I want to address in the I'm not even going to call you out, Kuda 9000, except I'm calling you out, Kuda 9000. I'm going to try to be very nice about this. You should know by now we're not making Stupid Mario World Season 3.
Why? What was the question?
Oh, no, he asked us about Stupid Mario World Season 3. Don't get him started. Don't get him started. So, Stupid Mario World Season 3 has been canceled for the better part of a year, because in its place, Stupid Mario Brothers Legacy, our motion picture project, which Richie is now in excess of 300 man-hours in on editing, and is set to release this Saturday. We're thinking, yeah. Is going to span everything that Season 3 is going to do, and way more, and plus a whole bunch of other shit. And you're in luck. It's coming out soon, so you get to learn all that right now, like right here, emergently. The rest of us have been like, oh shit, we're like 13 months into this. So to anybody out there, just to clarify, there's been many video updates on this one, maybe as many as 20 at this point on this channel that have addressed this particular change. But fair not. There is, oh, and now somebody's, EDMG is facetiously asking, how did you start Stupid Mario Brothers?
Thank you for answering that. I wasn't going to touch on it at all.
Okay, but there you go. There we go. Now, so we're clear. It's coming out soon. Here it is. Now, do we want to talk about where we're at with Legacy? I just got to see some scenes. I just previewed some scenes before we started it, and it's looking pretty dope. It's looking real dope.
So, I mean, right now I'm kind of battling... I'm getting everything. There are scenes, like I've showed I've showed scenes some Garrett. I've shown Garrett some scenes that are completely done. Again, the way I edit is kind of sporadic. I do kind of rough edits, and then I
you kind of rough out the whole thing, then you unrough out the whole thing, and then you
when I have felt like it, I have finished some scenes completely. Like there's a few scenes randomly that are finished with all their effects, music, and sound effects and everything, and then there are some scenes that don't have any of that, and then there's one scene, I won't spoil which one, there's one scene, a big scene in particular, that I have only just begun to start at all.
Right.
So...
kind of the climax.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our climactic, with this, and then happens, and that scene.
I would say I've probably got about 30 hours of editing left.
Yeah.
Now, can I fit that into the, 40 hours I have left before Saturday to...
Objectively, you can, but...
I could, but I could die also.
He could die.
So
His
I
heart
would
could
say-
give out at any moment. He's been running on no sleep.
As I said in last week's update, I'm 90% sure this is going to be out by Saturday. I also have a party to go to on Saturday, my birthday party, so that's a priority for me too, and I don't want to be like a zombie during it. So it's going to be tomorrow night. It's going to be like 2 in the morning, and I'm going to have to make a decision. Am I done? Is this good to go? Or should I delay it again? And so I'm going to...
We're right on the cusp there.
Yeah, so it's going to be a decision. It really just depends on how much I can fit in before that time.
God, we're close, though. God, we're close, and the stuff we do have
But,
just looks phenomenal.
If you don't get this movie Saturday, then we really do have to talk about, because I don't like to release big things like this on like Mondays and Tuesdays because Google's algorithm is shit. I'll just say it.
Yeah.
And
it'll get buried. People won't know it was
yeah.
released.
So-
and we know that you guys, amongst the few people who are here will be looking for it. But we're trying to reach an audience of a few thousand people, and we
Yeah.
don't want it to fly under the radar. It's just been too much work.
But I mean, if you don't get the movie on Saturday, you are 100% going to get it guaranteed the next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are likely 48 hours away from the release, and in the worst possible extrapolation of the imagination, you are
Getting it the following Saturday.
Yeah, so it's close.
But you will definitely not get it any later than that.
Gotcha. So we're right there. We're right there, and we're super stoked. And I give my buddy Richie infinite props for just really battling through what has been a hellish 2 weeks to try to get this technical monster put to bed. So
Yeah.
good job, buddy. I mean, it's been inspiring to watch you work in that regard,
I mean,
especially leading up to your birthday.
You think that
Dirty
we're on
30.
this cool Marvel ship? Let me just take down the, like they say in the Wizard of Oz, let me get rid of the veil here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
show you reality for a moment here.
This has been his egg. This has been his.
We're not in
we're
Garrett's
not-
studio.
we're
We've been
not.
in my room the entire time.
yeah, for sure. So there's that. And now the chroma key effect is going to register on all the green in the Totoro pictures, but it's
Oh,
okay.
that's fine.
So, yeah, that is what it is. As far as, I see a few of you guys asking about Secret Project, which you may have identified as my favorite thing in the world to talk about. We haven't had nearly as much time to work on teaser material for Secret Project. That being said, we still do intend. So the initial plan back before we thought Legacy was going to be this huge monster, was to have like a flushed out teaser to release at the end of this, after the end of credits sequence for that. That is not looking like it's going to happen, but however, by the end credits of Legacy, there will be some release on like, hey, here's what we're doing next. So for anybody who hasn't caught up on what we're talking about there, after Legacy is done, me and Rich do, we're going to take a quick breather, then we're going to ramp up production on our next big web series, which is to be announced. And I know a handful of people have begun to start the rumor that it's literally just called Secret Project, and we've been cock-teasing everybody this entire time. We're like, our new Secret Project is Secret Project! Hey! And that, you know what? We appreciate that you think that we're that facetious and cheeky, but no, it actually does have a name, and we are
I'd
very...
love to retitle it Secret Project just
man.
to mess with everyone.
Oh man, so in fact that would be if this was like an April Fool's thing, then oh my god, we would run with that so hard. But let me say, it does have a name, a very indicative name of exactly what we're dealing with. You guys will know right away what it is, but just know that we've already talked to Sky Lizard Studios, our CGI consult, who has done I think some of his best work I've ever seen on Legacy. He will be heavily involved in the coming project, as well as some other, third-party editing efforts. I mean, it's every editor we've ever worked with, plus many, to make Secret Project a reality. We're doing some consultations with them to get you guys a right and proper teaser, and then a fully fleshed out right and proper trailer. But just know that we're not going to make any insinuations until Legacy is out, but the very, very ending of Legacy, we will at the very least be dropping a name for the next web series that's coming out of the project. Me and Richie will be co-writing, co-directing, co-producing. And I'm super excited for it. I'm insanely frothing at the mouth excited for it. I think the last thing people are going to be curious about is the animated series, but I don't think we have much to update on the animated series right now.
I mean, yeah, it's, that first episode took like 9 months to produce.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm working
Under
with,
unideal circumstances, allow us to say. We're not, animation is the longest of any production medium. It is the most expensive, It is the most time intensive, and it is the most difficult to produce any amount of content.
Yeah, and also John, Wounded Chicken Studios, who's doing all the animation, he's still in college, like trying to get 2 degrees or something. So like, he doesn't have a whole lot of time.
And he's like getting married or something, or
you know, and he's got what else was I gonna say? He said he can get the next one done in like half the time, but probably not for free. So
yes,
that's the other you know, I don't want to I didn't want to drill that into you guys at the end of the animated episode, but but yeah, I mean, really, I think that we are going to try to hit that goal. I don't think we're going to even begin work on an episode 2 until we hit that. Because, you know, I've said in the past, you know, oh, let's hit the Patreon goal. And then we have never actually ever hit any of our Patreon goals.
Never once ever have we hit a Patreon goal.
This one, I think we do really have to hit that Patreon goal before we can.
I'm hoping that people go nuts once we kind of once we actually start telling people what Secret Project is.
Yeah, Secret Project. You know,
I'm really hoping that people are like, holy shit! When they start seeing what we got there.
Yeah. But the Secret Project may have its own separate Patreon account dedicated just to that, because it's going to bring in.
It's possible it'll have its own separate YouTube channel.
So
we can curtail advertising.
It's really going to be its own audience, and I can't really describe it without spoiling anything. So
yeah, so just know that that's a thing.
We'll get into it later. But yeah, as far as animated goes, we'll see. Might be paying him out of pocket, I don't know, but I would rather we hit the Patreon goal. So if you like the animated episode and you want to see more, then jump on that Patreon.
EDMG dropped the name of our Secret Project in chat. It's Harry Potter and Arthur's Lawnmower Smashes YouTube News. Let's cook.
That is not it at all. But thank you for referencing
everything.
Your Alvarez project?
Down from the oldest to the newest. You're hilarious, EDMGs, Evan. Don't ever change. That being said, we'll have some more info there. Back to the grind on Legacy. We're going to try our best to have it. He's going to try. At this point, my hands are pretty much tied. I can't do anything to help the man. It sucks. Just trying to make his birthday good once he's hopefully done with it. And
on Saturday, I require the most Coors Lights.
I know, right?
Our
friend Alex has been brewing some whiskey. Oak aging some whiskey in his garage specifically for
this event.
Yeah, the release of Legacy. So we're gonna break that out. Jackie has made custom. Jack makes glasses for it. It's gonna be off the chain.
It's gonna be great. Too bad none of you will be there.
Yeah, too bad.
Will we be live streaming any of that party? Maybe.
I don't know.
We'll see.
If you're not on the Rich Alvarez Discord, look us up on Discord, because I'll be on the Discord during that party.
Just know that if you start to see some live feeds from the party, we are drunk.
We are roasted!
We didn't mean to do it. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, wow. I guess that's about it. I really need to get back to editing.
Yeah, we got to get back to work. So, Godspeed, everybody. We'll hopefully see you. Hopefully see you on Saturday for the gratuitous, amazing release of this huge piece of work that Rich has been slaving away over. I hope everybody will be stoked on it. The few scenes that I have seen have got me all giddy. And you know, hey, if not, you know. Soon. Big thank you to everybody for your patience on seeing this. We really hope that it will deliver on that. And until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.